Good evening, horror fans, and welcome to another episode of Blockbuster Rejects. What's Blockbuster Rejects, you ask? Well, quite frankly, this is a small little spin-off show from the Horror For Dummies main show that talks about movies that have been taken from Blockbuster Video when it once was a thing, many years ago. Today's episode, we'll be talking about a movie called The Plague. That's right, Clive Barker's The Plague. This is episode 10. Before we start, I just want to let you guys know that I value each and every one of you guys listening out there, but I don't actually know if anyone is listening to this spin-off show. So a quick little thumbs up or a hello would be awesome if you guys would like to. It's up to you. I'm not plaguing you, no pun intended. But before we get into the review, let's go straight into the trailer for The Plague.
In the early days of the 21st century, all the children of the world were struck by a mysterious disease that put them in a deep catatonic state.
I will send famine and wild beasts against you.
Eric?
And they will leave you childless.
Something's wrong with my son.
Plague and bloodshed will sweep through you. And I will bring the sword against you. I, the Lord, have spoken.
It was the greatest catastrophe the world had ever known, until they woke up.
What's going on?
They're awake, man. All of them.
From Master of Horror Clive Barker.
You will get out of this alive.
Let's go!
James Van Der Beek.
Get down!
The Plague. On DVD.
They're learning.
Okay, so we are talking about The Plague from 2006, I believe. Now, I usually start the show with a little plot summary of what the movie is about, but I just listened to that trailer and it basically says exactly what I'm about to read out, but hey, it can't hurt to read it out again. So, in the early days of the 21st century, all the children of the world were struck down by a mysterious disease that left them in a deep catatonic state. It was the greatest catastrophe the world had ever known, until the day they woke up. Ooh, it's creepy. So basically what you got is a modern day Village of the Damned like story. Now, this stars Ivana Milchevek, I hope I'm saying that right, as Jean. It also stars Brad Hunt as Sam, Joshua Close as Kip. Now, Joshua Close has been in a couple little horror movies, one called The Exorcism of Emily Rose. Some people out there would know about that one. And, of course, Darian Brock's favourite horror movie in the whole wide world, Diary of the Dead. This also stars a familiar face in the name of James Van Der Beek, aka Dawson. You know that guy from that sitcom that used to play that I don't know anyone who ever watched it. Yeah, he's in this movie as Tom. This is directed by Hal Masonberg, who has gone on to do basically nothing. He directed one thing in 2016, and that's basically it. So, what have I got to say about this little film here? Well, the first thing I've got to talk about right now is it's, the thing that caught my eye when picking this movie out was Clive Barker. The name Clive Barker. Now this is Clive Barker's The Plague. And that's what caught my eye, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to watch this, because lately on this little show we've not been striking gold. The last two episodes have not been any good, so I needed something to have my eyes wide open and glued to the screen. And Clive Barker's name just appeared right in front of me, and I thought, hey, you can't go wrong with Clive Barker. And for the most part, that's usually a true statement. But for this movie, look, Clive Barker presents the first 10 minutes of this film, and that's it. Clive Barker did not write this film, he did not direct this film. What Clive Barker did with this film is he produced it. But he produced this film along with 15 other producers. And you can really see where his producing skills come into this movie. And then you can see where the other 15 people also come in. This has about 10 minutes of Clive Barker-ness to it, and then it's gone from the movie. Now, it might sound to you that I'm ripping on this movie already, but that's not the case. I did actually enjoy this movie, and it's a big improvement from the last 2 weeks. As I said before, this is basically Village of the Damned set in 2006. It's an interesting story that had me interesting for the most part. Unfortunately, it was let down with a very low budget, and the acting was a little half-assed. The biggest problem I had with this film, the biggest problem, was the score music. Now, I'm off, as I'm sure most of you guys are aware of, I'm a big fan of score music. If a score is really good, I'll be the first one to hear it, and it usually adds a lot of points in my book. This one sounded like they got a piano, and then they got a cat. And they put the cat on the piano, and voila, there's your score music. I'm not shitting you, that's exactly what it sounds like. You can go listen to the score music on YouTube or anything like that and check it out for yourself. But let's get back to the story. Now, the story interests me because, hey, I'm a zombie kind of guy, and this had kind of the similar story to a zombie feel movie, and I like that. I like the plague aspects when you have a group of infected, or I don't know what these kids were, possessed. It doesn't really say, and we'll get to that in a second. Possessed like kids running in packs, as zombies do, and I like that aspect of the film. The other problem that I have with this film is that it doesn't really explain what is happening at the end of this movie. I mean, it does, but you have to dig deep to find what this movie really means, and that's something that just took me out. It's not often that I actually want to dig to find answers. Just give it to me. Give it to me straight. Hey, I'm not a very educated and smart guy. I want my movies to be handed to me for the most part. Yes, there are some exceptions, but this one I had to really dig deep to find an answer, and when I found the answer I was like, that wasn't really digging deep into. So that was a bit of a minus for me. But I will happily say that The Plague is mostly good with a little bad sprinkled through. Would I recommend watching this? If you are a fan of zombie-like films, if you are a fan of Village of the Damned or anything like that, then I say this is worth a shot. Yes, it's not perfect in any way, and I did have a lot of problems with it. The acting was sketchy, and that score music, Jesus Christ. But for the most part, I had my attention, I had my eyes glued to the TV, and that's the main thing that matters. So for the score I'm giving it a 6 out of 10, which is a big jump up from the last 2 weeks. I think the last 2 weeks were a 3 or a 2 out of 10. So, hey, we're doing better here. Now, I want to talk to you for what we're doing next week. I picked a movie here that I have actually seen before, but I'm going to try and get a little guest. Some of you people may be familiar with this guest who has not seen this movie. The movie's name is The Gift. I believe it comes from 2015, and it stars Jason Bateman and Joel Edgerton. So we'll be reviewing that on episode 11 of Blockbuster Rejects. But until then, that is all I've got to report on this week. That's it for The Plague. Decent little movie. Would I watch it again? Yeah, probably. Actually, probably would. Not anytime soon, but give it a few months and I might put it on again. But until then, we thank you, and we'll catch you next time.
For the final that you came here for, the one derivative humanity, the one I abhor. I need a minute to eliminate forever what the everyday bullshit that I did you have done. Your impossible ego fuck is like a megalomaniacal jam on my jaw. You fucking touch me, I will rip you apart. I'll reach in and take a bite out of the shit you got